So Connie the cleric and her party were exploring the dungeon very carefully. Fred the fighter was right in front of her. Wally the wizard was right behind her. And scouting the way was Rachel the rogue. Suddenly, Rachel said, "What's this?" And she bent down, and there was a grinding noise, and a huge block of stone fell from the ceiling and crushed Rachel the rogue. For a moment, the rest of the party froze in horror, seeing the blood seeping out from underneath the twitching corpse of their friend. And then Fred the fighter said, "Oh no, I'll go get the block." And so he goes and he starts trying to push the block, and Wally starts casting a spell to deal with the stone. But Connie the cleric, her lessons came back to her. She clutched her holy symbol. She went over, she knelt down, and she spoke some words and crushed some herbs and lay her hand on the leg of Rachel the rogue. It did not heal her. It did not bring her back. But with the Gentle Repose spell cast, Rachel's corpse would be preserved until they could get her back to town and perform a resurrection ritual. All right. Welcome to Divine Thursday, everybody, for October 8th, 2020. I'm your host, DM Gallibond, and this is just a potential scenario where you might use the spell Gentle Repose. Gentle Repose is a spell in D&D that is available to several different classes, but we think of it mostly as a clerical spell because of what it does. And it appeared in the game starting in 3rd edition. So back in 3rd edition, it was Cleric level 2 spell, Sorcerer and Wizard level 3, 1 standard action, and it would last 1 day per level. And so it just simply preserves the remains of a dead creature so they do not decay. It effectively extends the time limit on raising that creature from the dead by using the Raise Dead spell. Days spent under the influence of the spell don't count against the time limit. Additionally, the spell makes transporting a fallen comrade more pleasant, and also works on severed body parts and the like. Then in 4th edition, Gentle Repose was a ritual. There were powers that you could use kind of at any time that were intended to be combat powers or combat abilities, and then there were rituals that were intended to be used out of combat, and rituals always take from 10 minutes to 1 hour to cast. So General Repose, your practiced hands perform ritual fast enough to preserve the body for a later casting of Raised Dead, performed on an adjacent corpse. Quintuples the time the corpse can lie dead and still be affected by Raised Dead or a similar ritual. General Repose also protects the corpse from being raised as an undead creature for 150 days. So now that's something it did not specify in 3rd edition, but in 4th edition they added that little caveat about preventing it from being raised as an undead. And now in 5th edition, the current edition, it lasts for 10 days. You touch the corpse or other remains for the duration. The target is protected from decay and cannot become undead. Also effectively extends the time limit on raising the target from the dead, since days spent under the influence don't count against the time limit of spells such as Raise Dead. So almost identical verbiage from the 3rd edition description here, with that caveat from 4E about protecting the body from decay and it can't become undead. All right, so a little bit of a short episode this time, but that is because the spell hasn't been around very long. Down in the comments below, Has there ever been a memorable time in a campaign you played where raised debt or where General Repose was used, and did you use it more so for for preserving a corpse to be raised later, or did you do it because you were in some sort of area that was infested with undead and you wanted to avoid a former ally from being raised and being turned against you? I always think that's kind of interesting to see different reasons that people use spells. If you DM long enough, if you play in enough groups, you'll see people take all kinds of different things that you may have never thought of personally, um, ways of using spells that are very creative. So, what's the most creative or most effective use of the Gentle Repose spell that you have seen in a game where you've been a DM or been a player? All right, if you like everything we're doing here on the channel, please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, click the post notification bell so you get notified every time new content goes up. In the description of the video, you'll find out all the social media platforms I'm on, and you'll find out how you can follow the live stream uh, D&D games that I run every week on my Twitch channel. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot. Uh, have a fantastic week, and we will see you next time on Divine Thursday. Good night, everybody.